So, man, on the theme of Jake Oman reviews your favorite foods, I feel like we just scratched the surface there. I mean, there's some other components we need to add in. But what else you got, man? Give me some unique flavor. Maybe something not everyone's had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Give me that good, man.
If you want like the real on the down low, then yeah, like you need frog legs from Ollie's Place in Salina, Tennessee.
Can you spell the name of that city?
Yeah, it's spelled like Salina, Celina. But we got into town, someone said Salina, and someone else was like, whoa, Salina, sir. Salina, Tennessee.
Is that like the difference between Versailles and Versailles?
Big difference, yeah. Or Edinburgh and Edinburgh.
Or Louisville and Louisville?
Exactly. You know locals and you know tourists right away. Salina, it's Salina, Tennessee.
What's the deal there, man? I assume you weren't just vacationing because Jake Oman don't vacate.
Nice way to put it. That could be a shirt. Jake Oman don't vacate. We'll perfect that later. But yeah, so I'm a big international traveler, Pete. I go a lot of places internationally and awesome. I'm going to be going to some of them by the time this airs. But
well, you will be there or you will be. Yeah, where will you be?
I will be traveling. Yeah, I might be in the air.
So if anyone wants to make one last romantic gesture, like running to the plane, like trying to make sure you don't get on it.
Yeah,
like,
you have a few hours by the time this drops and the time I get on the plane.
So there you go. I mean, continue to listen in your car while you're going, but go.
Yeah.
Like,
I go a lot of sexy international places. Sometimes I go sexy domestic places like Salina, Tennessee.
Is there a North and South Salina?
No, there's not. There's a one-horse town, Pete. Horses also come into play.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, so I can't even remember. I think this was 2012. Yeah, I work for this company. I still do to this day sometimes. There's this company in Northern Indiana. It's not very good. No reason to call them out by name. It's just not very good. It's fun. There's cool people. Yeah, like on a Monday I saw like, oh, hey, this company is doing a show in Tennessee for some reason.
Now, how do you see this? Is it you see a flyer, there's a Reddit group, a Facebook group?
Facebook post.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Facebook post by the guy who runs the company and says, hey, we make our debut in Salina, Tennessee this Saturday. Now, this company runs in Elkhart, South Bend, Goshen. So this is like a 7 or 8 hour drive for them. It actually makes zero sense.
Kind of like Elkhart. I didn't know somebody ran shows there. I also don't know why I kind of like Elkhart because there's not a lot of redeeming qualities.
I'm
there.
surprised that you like Elkhart. I don't particularly care for it.
Isn't it kind of scenic for a town that should be like Gary? And for all intents and purposes is Gary. Yeah, they have a little body of water, and it looks like a town that at one point wasn't a crap hole, and then it just crap holed.
Well, I think like Goshen and Wabash, Mishawaka are nice cities, and Elkhart's like the butthole in the middle.
Yes. But you're comparing them against towns that people would say are nice. Elkhart just wasn't as bad as I thought. Elkhart's not Gary.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's fine. Elkhart, not Gary.
I put it above Anderson.
Their slogan. Yeah, Elkhart probably beats Anderson a bit. Same idea. It used to be a factory town, then they left.
Right, and then crap hole.
Yep, exactly. So if you need an RV, go to Elkhart. If not, go to Wabash.
There's another t-shirt.
Yeah.
Jake's travel tips.
So I was like, it doesn't make sense for like why a company books a show 8 hours from home that they can't self-promote when that city probably has wrestling within 20 minutes. Tennessee has a ton of wrestling shows. They have ones really close. So why would they book one 8 hours away?
Do they get AEW there?
AEW's coming nowhere near Salina. I guarantee you. I don't know how far away it is from Nashville. I can't remember.
I don't know. It's probably not important. I've way sidetracked
2 hours.
this thing. We're so far from frog legs.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So on Thursday night, I'm like, man, you know what? It'd probably just be a fun trip. I don't have anything to do this weekend. So I shoot the guy who runs the show a message. I'm like, hey, man, are you guys taking a van or renting a bus or something? He's like, oh, we're renting a van.
I just got my belt buckle polished. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, man. Like, when are you guys leaving? He's like, oh, we're going to leave, Friday afternoon. I was like, dude, any chance you can pick me up in Indy? He's like, yeah, for sure, man. So they pick me up in Indy on a Friday night, and we start the drive down to Salina. I feel like it's about a 6 hour drive. So we're driving, we make, a road stop here or there. And in this van, there's one or two guys I know pretty well, and then a group of guys I just don't, which I thought was a good reason to go because I didn't know who was going, and I knew I'd make some friends on the road, and I didn't have to drive. That helps.
Give me a name of one friend you made.
Cody Manning.
The big deal?
The big deal.
So that probably made the trip worth it, huh?
Yeah.
Getting to interact with the big deal?
So I I got to become buddies with the big deal, Cody Manning. And if you're curious as to why they call him the big deal, share a locker room with him. That's all I'm going to say.
Enough said.
On the way down, a bunch of the guys, they buy like a 24 pack or a 36 pack of beer, and a lot of the guys are getting pretty toasted, pretty wasted. At one point in the trip, we have to pull over to the side of the road as fast as we can, so the side door flies open and the big deal vomits out the side of the door.
Classy.
Yeah, including getting just a little bit on my shoe.
Not your Yeezys.
Not my Yeezys, thankfully. Just a little bit where I could act like I was super pissed at him for the next hour, and he was like really scared. But I didn't care. I thought it was funny.
Because they weren't your Yeezys.
Yeah, it wasn't my Yeezys. I would have killed him. I would have killed him if it was my Yeezys.
Deservedly so.
Yeah, these were just some knockoff hoves.
Respect.
Yeah. So we had a couple stops on the way down. We probably grabbed some food. And we're just bonding. And I bonded with a few other people I didn't really know very well. So we get there. We meet the people who helped us organize this show at Salina Middle School, which that's pretty cool because obviously the middle school is going to handle all your promotion, right? In theory.
Was it also the post office?
It was not. However, the only thing that this town had was the middle school. I don't think they had a high school. I think they had to bus people out to the high school.
We'll deal with that when the problem comes up, when these kids get ready to move on.
It was K through 8, all in one school, and it was a small school. We get to the people helping us organize its house, and they have maybe like an acre out in the country. And Salina, Tennessee is the definition of out in the country. There's nothing 4 miles, but it's beautiful. Like, it's beautiful. There's hills. There's essentially what Indiana people could call mountains.
Yeah, what we think mountains are is pretty skewed. I mean, there is a mountain range that goes through Tennessee, but you probably weren't there.
Yeah, we weren't in the mountains, not the Appalachians. But it was nice, hilly, beautiful, pretty much Indiana mountains.
We got dunes, man.
We noticed that there's like this acre lot, right? And there's 2 trailers on it. And we're going to split up who stays in which one. One is a husband and wife and their kid. And the other trailer just across the way, like 100 yards away, is the parents, the grandparents. So we split half and half. Yeah, crash for the night. So we wake up, we go ahead and we go into town, grab breakfast, and we arrive at the only restaurant in town, Ollie's Place.
Tell me about Ollie's Place.
Ollie's Place is the only place. If you want to be...
I mean, we talking like Greasy Spoon, upscale dining, attached to a gas station. What do we got going here?
I would... See, it's a type of place where I don't want to say it's a Waffle House vibe, because it's a nice family restaurant in a small town.
And it's not $20 entree kind of things. Like you can get a decent breakfast for a swell price.
Yeah,
kind of
everything
thing.
is reasonably priced. It's just greasy home cooking, which is what I'm looking for. So we sit down, we all go in there, and of course everyone knows we're outsiders because there's so many of us, and we're all of different races, creeds, colors. And there's not a lot of diversity in Salina, Tennessee. And I start talking to everyone because I want to know all the locals. We go out with the family. I want to know the family.
It's because you're promiscuous. Let's be honest.
Take it how you want. We start talking to everybody. At some point, I start talking to this gentleman, this older black gentleman, super cool guy. We hit it off. He's real chill. I also made a joke about prison time that I did. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, how much time you do?" And I can't remember what I turned and said, but I had a response real fast. And he's like, "Me too, bro. It's good to be out."
Would you just turn around and be like, "Yeah, man, I did a nickel at long pock."
Yeah. So I had a very snap reaction like that. I said something about, being free. And then he turned to me and he said something too. And I was like, "Yeah, brother, I get you." It was just like that moment where we super bonded. And then after a while, I finally asked him, I was like, "Oh, hey man, so like, what's your name?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm Ollie. It's my place." Like, oh, hell yeah. Ollie from Ollie's Place.
Where have I heard that name before, Ollie? I can't play. Oh, here.
From Ollie's Place,
outside.
Dog. Also, that leads into a conversation where he talks about the stuff they do at Ollie's Place. And one of the things was all you can eat frog legs Tuesdays.
I have logistical questions about what's the margin on frog legs and how many frogs have to die for you to put on an all you can eat frog leg deal. But I need to know.
We can come back to that part in a second because that is a moral dilemma. So Ollie is like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Nah, I never had frog legs, man. Like, that's really interesting. I'm curious how those taste." Luckily, 1 or 2 other people chimed in. "Oh, I've never had that either." What I'm trying to do here is say, "Ollie, man, like, if you wanted to hook us up with frog legs, you could." Which he got the subtext on. He's like, "You know what? Give me a minute, man." And because of me, and then this girl, Casey, we know, like, we're the reason that we got frog legs for everyone.
So everyone at that table owes you at least like $5.99.
They owe me a couple bucks because Ollie comes out like 10 minutes later with 2 baskets of frog legs so we can all have a few frog legs. Frog legs are delicious. Have you ever had them?
No.
Dude, legit, it tastes exactly like chicken.
So my question here is, and it's very brief, crab legs?
Yep.
A lot of work for not a whole lot of meat. Are frog legs similar or are they easier to eat?
No, it's easy to eat. It's like eating chicken wings, pretty much. Because the bones are kind of the same. There's one piece. There's one where there's one long piece and then one where there's a double.
So probably not a ton of meat, but they're easy to just kind of pick up, pull the meat off, and move on.
Super easy to eat. But yeah, there's not a lot of meat. So all I could think was, man, on all you can eat frog leg night, I could eat at least 100 legs.
50 frogs, man.
I know. That's like frog genocide. Where do they all come from? How many people show up at all you can eat frog leg Tuesdays?
You think they got frog farms?
I hope.
They have to.
But I mean, realistic, and some of these were really long legs. So like, how come this like valley isn't overrun by frogs? Because these are huge.
Man, or do you import those? Man, this isn't
really the type of city where import can happen. I don't feel.
Go out back to the sewer pipe. That's where all his frogs come from.
Yeah. How do you get
He's
that?
out there. That's jigging is what they call like
Getting
spearing
frog
frogs, I think.
I have no idea.
I think it's called jigging.
But what do you do with the rest of the body?
I don't know.
Can you use it somehow?
Maybe that's what they make their cheeseburgers with.
That'd be hilarious. I hope it gets used. I'm really against wasting food, man. And I felt kind of bad eating frog legs, but I only had a few.
It's like chicken wings, man. I don't think anybody feels bad necessarily about this, but the logistics involved
I do.
are mind-blowing. Yeah, you shouldn't.
I do.
Next time you see him, ask him. And if he's not making frog burgers, suggest it.
So for this trip, I was hanging out with this girl named Casey, and he just thought we were together because we were just hanging out. We're friends. We weren't friends before this trip, so that'll come back the next day. So we go wrestle that night. I don't remember what my match was. I worked
Didn't you work Scotty?
No. I worked Sean. He does like a biker character. Ace Evans. I worked Ace Evans on this show. Yeah, we killed it. Stole the city. And actually the show too, there were like 500, 600 fans and they were nuts. They were great. It was an awesome...
Was it at the school?
Yeah, it was at the middle school in the old school gym that looked like it was built in the 30s.
I was going to say Hoosiers was filmed there, but it wasn't. That was filmed at a high school in Indiana. But
yeah, not that far from here.
Yeah.
So it was great. Great show. That night we went back to their place, partied. Everyone, got a lot of beers and got kind of trashed or whatnot. We woke up early the next morning, went back to Ollie's place, had breakfast. We said our goodbyes to Ollie. And because Ollie and I became boys, he was like, oh, hey, man, I don't know when you guys are going to come back down, but you and Casey need to come on down sometime here soon. I'll wrangle us up some horses and we'll ride up and down the mountains. And I'll just show you a good time.
Then once we're done, we can have some horse legs.
Well, at least I can only eat one. Right. All right.
One would satiate you for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh man, that's awesome. I'm kind of scared of horses, but this sounded great. And the fact that I was able to make that connection where a dude said, I'll get us some horses and I'll show you up and down the mountains. That's awesome.
Well, it can't be any worse than your time in the joint.
Yeah, exactly, man. Behind bars, like imagine the freedom. Ollie and I can be on top of a mountain, and that's a metaphor for appreciating the life that we have outside. Yeah, those are the type of connections I want to make on the road. So Ollie's my boy. He gave me his phone number. I was like, yeah, man, hit me up and we'll figure it out. I'm like, dude, great. Thank you. I should have really kept on Casey about that. About, hey, man, we owe Ollie this date.
Man, you guys probably would have been married. Ollie would have taken you out, would have been majestic.
He could have officiated the wedding from horse.
Yeah.
From horseback. Oh, also, that reminds me. Ollie's place outside has a giant elephant statue.
Why?
Life size. I don't know. I forgot all about this. I actually forgot about this story until I was going through stuff a few days ago, and I found my Ollie's place t-shirt.
Why was the elephant outside not on your question list for Ollie?
Oh, man, I guess I was saving it for when we came back down to ride horses.
But you came back down, didn't you?
So we
you
came
didn't
back
just
down.
leave Ollie hanging.
So anyway, we took some pictures of the elephant, came home. It was one of my favorite trips I've ever had. And I made a bunch of friends I'm still close with to this day. Drove back home. It was all good. 8 months later or something, they say there's going to be a second trip. Now, this trip, I did not wait till the last second to say I wanted in on. I immediately said I want in.
You were ground floor on this.
Yeah, one. I was like, you let me lead this. And I got a hold of a few more friends of mine. I got a hold of Dwayne. Scotty Young, and I was like, hey, dude, you got to go on this trip. The last one was a blast. I want to thank 2 or 3 other people I told. I don't know if they came. The second trip, we go on the way down. Same thing. A lot of people are getting feeling pretty good on the way down.
Pretty toasted.
It's pretty funny. We're making friends with some people we don't know that well. We get down there. We split between the 2 houses again. We go wrestle the next day. Oh, we go out to eat Ollie's place in the morning. He remembers me, obviously. Super glad to have us there.
Yeah, you were the freak with the beard. I remember you. Yeah. Where's Casey?
Yeah, he asked me where Casey was. I was like, man, I don't know. Like, we're not actually like close.
She's just my prison rebound dog.
Yeah, I was just a little taste of freedom. She's a great person. I didn't mean for that to sound weird.
I think that was part of the humor.
Yeah,
I hope it wasn't perceived as sincere.
So we eat at Ollie's place, great breakfast. I wrestled Scotty Young that night. We killed it. Even better than Ace Evans and I killed it. Great show. Another like 500-600 people. They were nuts. We go back to the 2 houses afterward. The grandpa decided tonight we party. I asked me to come with him. I follow him into his kitchen. He opens up a cupboard, and there are like 12 glasses, like mason jars full of clear liquid. And I'm like, Jake Oman doesn't drink, but he knows what this is.
Oh, that's a good Tennessean right there.
Yep, that's the shine, bro. So he starts grabbing glasses and handing some to me, and he's like, all right, spread them out. So everyone, or every 2 or 3 people, get their own mason jar full of moonshine. Start drinking up. I wait maybe like 30, 40 minutes. I'm just hanging out. I go back into his kitchen and I see an empty mason jar. So I take it, I fill it to the brim with water. I go outside. I wait for a minute. We're in the middle of a group of people. And these are people who don't know me that well. So they don't know that I don't drink.
They haven't seen the inside of your lip.
Yeah, they haven't seen any tattoo work I have that says I don't drink. I think 1 or 2 people knew. So like I'm sitting in the middle of this big group. And I said something about people being lightweights, and I probably made some derogatory remark.
Yeah, you got to call out masculinity before you do something cool.
Yeah, like, you know.
Nancy's, sissies, pansies.
Exactly. You pansies. I was like, you guys think you can drink? I open up my mason jar and just start chugging. I down the whole mason jar, and the jaws of every single person on this porch are on the floor. Like, everyone is just like, oh my God, he didn't do that. And like looking like at each other, like I'm about to explode. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. And then for like the next 30 or 40 minutes, I act like I'm fine. And everyone's just like shocked. Eventually I just go ahead and like sit and put my like face down on my hands. I'm like, guys, I'm not feeling so good. Got a little bit of headache going on.
I think my liver burst.
Yeah. I was like, this doesn't feel so great. At that point, I also went over to Dwayne. I was like, oh, hey man. So just to confirm, right? Like, I would be like completely gone, right? He's like, yeah, obviously, like you'd be dead. Now, when he tells this story, like he did a few nights ago, he skews a little differently because his way of remembering things is Scotty Youngified.
He knows that you're a mark. He's telling it like it is.
Yeah. So his version of the story, all of the same things happen until I go to ask him a question. And he said that I asked him like, oh, hey man, I don't really know. So I would be like really trashed, right? He's like, yeah, you'd be dead. Obviously, I know I'd be dead. I don't drink, but I know what moonshine does to you. I know.
I've seen a PBS special, bro. Come on.
Yeah. Do you think that all of my friends don't drink? Do you think that I wasn't friends in high school with a bunch of functioning alcoholics? I know what the shine does to you, brah.
That's great. I know what it does. Seriously. Does he listen?
No.
Dwayne?
I mean, if he does, he hasn't given me feedback on the episode where I call out him and Brett.
It's true. Well, he might need to listen because he's got to get powerbombed through a table for unrelated reasons.
Yeah, if he asks me about it, I'm more than willing to tell him about it. Anyway, so that sums up our night. We had a good time, and then I drove back home, and that was Salina, Tennessee, Pete.
Whoa, you were able to drive after all that, man?
Yeah, man, they had me drive actually because everyone else was so hungover. And somehow I wasn't. I did a nip up, a front handspring off the porch in the morning just to show everybody that I could hang. Like I'm a worker and they're not. If what I had done on the show the night before didn't prove that I'm a worker and they're not, the fact that I drank all that moonshine did. I'm pretty much Indiana Ric Flair.
Woo.
Thanks for listening again at Off the Cliff Pod, at Multimedia Hustle, and at Jake Oman 2012. We will catch you next Wednesday.